Hey, thanks for checking out Faskr. My name's Patrick Allen. I am the creator, the CEO, the owner, all of the above of Faskr. It's a project management and invoicer, billable hours, timekeeping, time tracking app. I wanted to make something that would help me keep track of my hours as I do video editing. That's what I do mostly for a living. I edit videos for clients. So in this tutorial, in this video, I'm just going to show you some of the basic features of how to create tasks, how to edit them, and keep track of your hours. All right, you ready? Let's go. Okay, here we go. When you first start up Faskr, you're going to see the default task manager screen like we see before us right now. And the first thing you're going to see are these task cards. They're auto-filled to kind of act like a tutorial. So each one of these task cards you can move around. Basically, if you want to modify one of these, you just double click right on the task card itself. Select different due dates. I'm going to ensure that I do this correctly. That way we can go over to, once we go to the Clocks app, it'll show what we want it to show. So I'm going to make it today's date and we're going to update it. And so we have our first modified task. Welcome to Faskr Task Manager. This is our first modified task card. We've moved it into the active column. Now, when we go over to the Clocks app, what it's going to do is reflect that change. And as you can see, it kind of jumped after it relayed the information. What the Clocks app is intended to do is for more short-term deadlines. So if you have something that's due, even within a matter of hours, or if it's due within a matter of days, what this does is it takes that arbitrary time that you set up and then it turns it into a 360-degree division. So in this case, the one that we just did is welcome to Faskr Task Manager, and it's this one right here, which is really tiny right now. But if we were to come back here, and if we modify the date, okay, now that we adjusted the date and the time, we're going to go back over to the Clocks app. We'll see it kind of jump. So the progress bar there, that will be fully filled in about an hour and a half from now, which is why this bar started to jump forward. Anyways, the Clocks app also has a feature where you can compare time zones. Sometimes that's handy if you're working remotely. And if you open up the settings in Clocks app, there's some cool features in here. You can have grandfather clock chimes on the hour. You can change it to military time. You can also have a clock ticking sound. Some people find that therapeutic, myself included. Anyways, moving on, we have the Notes app. This is basically just kind of designed to allow you to take notes, scribbling and that sort of thing. Or if you want something a little bit more organized, you can kind of do it a little bit more traditionally with just regular note-taking app. This is my first note. And it's pretty easy to use. It's pretty straightforward, nothing too complex there. You can turn this into a list mode, and you can output the file either as a JSON or a PNG for sharing. Most importantly, the Timesheets app. By the way, if you find yourself using Task Manager and Timesheets like I do, you can swap these back and forth. These are swappable tabs at the top here. The Timesheets app is reflective of what you have over here in the Task Manager. So if I create a new task, let's say some hours. Okay, so now that we have our task created, we have creating a new task to work on. We can jump over to the Timesheets app, and now it says creating a new task to work on. From here, you can, if you already have your rates selected, you can just do a drop down, but I'll kind of walk you through how to do that. So we want to click over here on the rates tab in the left-hand column. Each one of the apps in Faskr has a left-hand column and its UI. And that just has customized controls for each app. So what we're going to do here is add a new rate. Faskr new rate. And this one will be, I'm feeling frisky today. It's going to be $200 an hour. Whew. That's quite a bit. Okay. So we're going to come over here and we're going to select our new rate, creating a new task to work on. We'll do the drop down at $200 an hour, and then we'll click clock in. And so just like that, you have hours tracking. Now we'll go ahead and clock out. And if I come down here to the history tab, again on the left-hand column, you can see now that we have an entry. Now, we didn't clock in for very long, but let's say that we were clocked in for a couple hours. Let's do 2 hours. And we can create a note to just kind of keep track of what we did. We made a video. We made a tutorial video. Let's make it a little bit more specific. For Faskr. Now, if you're on the Pro version, it allows you to update via the settings. And what that'll do is it'll give you a custom logo for your invoice. It can also help fill out client details, which are saved. But to keep things simple, we'll just go ahead and generate an invoice. And you can see right away you have your customized, itemized invoice. The main reason why I created this app is I used to spend tons of time trying to remember what I did on a specific date, which thing I worked on. What I do for a living is edit video. And so if you're editing specific parts of a video, it can be hard to remember, on a given day, like what you did. You can reschedule tasks pretty easily. So if I go, welcome to Faskr Task Manager, and I want to maybe put it for tomorrow as a due date, it's pretty easy to do. I just drag and click and confirm. This is Manager View. Manager View tends to, what it's supposed to do is show you different managers that, you can call them whatever you want, but I just chose that title. Basically, a manager is a person that would be who the work is for, or who it's been assigned from, rather. So Manager View is more of like, well, a little bit like what it sounds like. If you were managing a group of people, tutorial guide could be Joe, Faskr tips could be Fred, information could be Susie, and so forth. Here's one with an actual person's name, Frank S. So with Manager View, it's just designed to kind of give you a top-down sort of list view of who's assigned what. And then what we have here is, this is the pie chart view, and basically it just, once this becomes populated and you start tracking hours, it will then keep track of how many hours you put into each thing. So it's sort of like a percentage-based, at a glance, seeing how long you've spent on a given project. Again, if you're managing somebody, this is a great way to either check in on their progress, or if you just ask them to share their various views here, like the pie view, for instance, it can kind of give you a clue as far as like what they're spending the most time on. And then there's just a simple key at the bottom. In the Pro version, you get import and export. That's for outputting like a JSON file, which is just it's a way of saving your work. If you want to view it locally, like if you're offline, you can do that. The other thing that you get in Pro mode is you can share your workspace. And by creating a share link, that's really quite handy, because it'll create an additional view that almost like sending an email to someone or a social media link. It just shows your overall task board. So I find that very handy. You can also, in the task itself, if you're on Pro mode, you can also get task attachments. That's handy if you want to share files, because when you combine that with the share workspace function, you can actually use it to, as kind of a way to share files past the normal smaller ones you get with email. So, and I guess just some other quality of life things here I added. You can collapse these columns if you just want to view a couple, or maybe you don't want to see the archives and you just want to look at your drafts, you can, or your actives, or whatever the case may be. If you want to sort them, there's a little drop down thing and it'll sort by name, due date, manager, and who the task has been assigned to. And so, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the video. Thank you for checking out Faskr. I hope it helps you complete your tasks faster with Faskr. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.